I am live. One of my husband's favorite YouTubers is a guy called Craig Shipp, and he does basically live streams. It's like just what he does. And like one of the things that Craig Shipp always says is, "This is live TV, folks. This is live TV." And I was just saying that to myself as I get started here. Today is December 14th. Sorry, I'm putting the APB out. That's what I'm always doing. Like, so whenever I get started on this, actually, I'm going to bring up what somebody just said. Yes, exactly. Yeah. Okay. Yes. So whenever I get started on Bright Star Mornings, I want to push it out to my Facebook friends because I'm so new at this that basically I have Facebook friends and not a lot of followers. So no one is looking at Bright Star Coach page. No one. And so when I start the live broadcast, I have to put it out on my Evelyn Facebook page, or else literally nobody will ever look. And I get that, like we're early on in this thing. My lighting is a little funny today, so I do apologize for that. This light right here is like really bright in my face. I actually have worked out a solution for that I did for my last YouTube video, but I didn't do it this time. I put like a paper there. We're hoping after Christmas, we're gonna have some better lighting solutions and stuff. Because the winter months makes it hard to record in this spot. So I recorded YouTube videos all through the summer. I started recording on YouTube in March under my previous channel, and it looked good here until about fall. Excuse me, until about the fall equinox. And then because of just the natural lighting and the current situation, it just didn't look as good. So I started recording outside. And I'm still in that weird lighting. So anyway, bear with me. So mug talk. How could I forget mug talk? Today's mug is my Suncadia mug. From Suncadia Resort out in the mountains. I like this mug because it's a bigger mug. It's wider, it's bigger. It holds a lot more liquid than some other mugs. I just got this year. We vacationed there Memorial Day weekend. I liked Suncadia fine. I wrote them a TripAdvisor, not sterling review. We were like at the end of the off season, and they clearly had like the D team in there, not even A, B, or C. Like it was the D team of service. And so there were a few like service related things I didn't love about Suncadia. But I always love to get out in nature. And so like you couldn't argue with the surroundings. I think the other thing I had, and again, it was off season, was they were doing a ton of construction. And so like, especially when you live in an urban area and you go out into the mountains, like part of what you want is like the peace of the mountains. And you want this picture here. You want trees and a tent, you want to be out in the, and it was like construction, so there was like caterpillars but I mean, obviously it was a resort. Like, what did I expect? So I'm not like mad about it. Cause if I really want this experience, I will go in the backcountry, I will go backpacking. I wanted a resort experience, but I didn't want to get away from it all. So anyway, so that's mug talk for the day. Suncadia, love the mug. Suncadia was fine. It was fine. Like, I'll probably go back, honestly. It'll probably be something I think Labor Day would be a better weekend, but having 2 kids, it was fine. All right. So we're about 4 minutes in. Topic of the day. Topic of the day is pick your battles. And I was just reading because so this morning I dropped a blog post on this topic on brightstarcoachonline.com, so check it out. And I was reading one of my friend Kristen's comments on that blog, which was that outsourcing really helps with this. And so hold on. Before I jump into her comment, let's talk about the topic of the day, pick your battles. So what I mean by that in this context is you can't do everything. Oh, I forgot to pin. You can't do everything. So, oops, let me actually spell everything right. So stop trying. So the thing about it is like so I'm recording this from the Pacific Northwest in the United States. Okay. So this has a heavy United States bias. So if you're one of my friends that live in a different country, in a different place, maybe things are different for you there. Although I think most people that I know online, interact with online, at least live in what I would call a first world country, right? I don't think I have anybody who's living in a third world type of environment, type of thing, right? But what I'm trying to say is when you live in a first world country, one of the blessings, but the curse of living in a third world country, is a first world country, sorry, is you have so many options and there's so much that you can do. You could do it all. You can do anything and everything imaginable almost. And I mean, I understand that, yes, there's obviously there's a financial range too, but I mean, again, I am pretty much a middle-class type person. Most of the people I know are middle-class type people. Like, we have the means that we can do a lot. Okay. If you want to. And I think what that creates is, and this is very common, this is a social media phenomenon, especially now. Like, I feel like we had this before, like it was still a thing, but social media has made it like 1,000 times worse, because you go on your social media, you go on your Facebook, your Twitter, your Instagram, oh my God, Instagram, and you see people just living their best life. You know, they're going to Hawaii, they're doing all these amazing, they're running marathons and they're doing triathlons and Ironmans. And you're like, what am I doing? Like, you have this feeling in you, at least a lot of us, you know, maybe those of you that are out there living your best life, y'all don't need this. But like, some of us are like, I'm not doing all of that. And so you start to sort of feel bad. Like, you start to have this feeling like I should be doing more, like I want it all. And so that's why the blog post I started with that Veruca Salt song, I want it, you know, I want the world, I want the whole world, right? But you can't, like, you can't. Which actually the other song that came to mind is Circle of Life, because they say it in that song too. Like, there's far too much to take in here, more to find than can ever be found. But the sun rolling high on the sapphire sky, you know, keeps great and strong on the endless. Anyway, what, you know the song, right? But it's true. There's far too much to take in here. There's far too much. So what do? You got to start picking your battles. You got to start choosing, this is the thing that I am going to do, and I'm going to focus on that thing, or that few things, or this category of things. So for example, myself, I'm very active. I love to be active. I got into Spartan racing a couple years ago. I did one sprint in 2018. And then this year in 2019, I got a trifecta, which is doing their 3 distances in 1 calendar year. So I did the sprint, the super, and the beast, which is a half marathon obstacle course race, right? So I got a trifecta this year. And I have tons of friends who have trifectas and they have multiple trifectas. But like, I have decided that for me, I'm good with the sprints. Like, I don't need to do the higher level things. And I will tell you, it's a little bit of a struggle for me, because like, there is an attitude that says like, push yourself harder, better, faster. And I think there is a benefit in that. And some people really benefit from needing that, right? But I realized that I didn't need it. And that for me, for 2020, I just want to focus on doing 5Ks and sprints, because that's what's fun for me. I don't, and because of my life situation, I have a full-time job, I have 2 kids, I have this side hustle I'm trying to get started. I can't like run so much that I'm training for a marathon, and or a half marathon. And I'd feel guilty about that. I'd feel bad about it. I feel like I should be doing that. You know, I've got my friends out here getting 3, 4 trifectas. I should be doing that. But it's like, no, they have a different life situation. They have different passions, different interests, different needs. Let me focus on my thing. What do I want? Let me pick my battles. And so I have to sort of, in picking your battles, once you pick like, this is what I'm going to focus on, that means you're shutting off a lot of the other things. So as I mentioned at the start of this, I did blog about it, and Kristen made a little comment saying basically like, outsource, right? Yeah, that's true. Like, get help. Obviously, if there's things that you want to do and things that you want to be part of, get the help that you need to, you know, I'm sorry, I'm getting a text. Anyway, you know, get the help that you need to be able to do the things. But at the same time, I would say, give yourself a little bit of slack too, though. Like, you know, like her example was, you know, and actually today's a good example of this, because I'm actually supposed to be going to a cookie party later. Hey, Sharona, if you're ever watching, I'm going to be going to Sharona's cookie party later. And so she was saying, you know, when she has a cookie party, she calls on her friend who bakes, and that friend does it for her. And I think that's great. Like, that's a great way to manage that. Like, you want to be able to bring fresh baked cookies. You're not a baker. Get your friend to help you. And I think that that's great. But if you're in a situation, like in my case, like I don't have that friend. Like, I don't have a person who's going to bake cookies for me. So how do I handle things like that? I do what works for me. Like, I pick my battles. I know that I'm not a cook. I'm not a baker. So this time of year is hard for me because everybody wants to do a potluck. Everybody wants to do a bake off. Everybody wants to do a thing. And that's great. Like, some people love those things. That's not my jam, but I do love my friends. So I want to be part of a thing. So I do the bare minimum. And nowadays, like, they do make basic things. So, like, I'm just going to tell you right now, Sharona, if you're watching this, like, you're getting the sugar cookies, because last year I stressed myself out making cookies. And for what? Like, I want to enjoy my days too. And that's really what I'm getting at here with the pick your battles, is pick where you want to sort of stress yourself and where you don't. Because the point is to stretch, but not break. The point is to push yourself, but not past the point of it being fun anymore. I mean, look, here's the deal, guys. If you're watching this, you're probably a freaking adult. Okay? You're a grown up. And so, like, once you become a grown up, it's like you have to start taking ownership of your choices. And you also have to start taking ownership for the enjoyment of your own life. And in some cases, that means I'm going to do something in a way that works for me. Even if it means saying no to this or turning down that or being very simple and basic with my baking, right? Because that's not what I'm 36 years old. I'm not suddenly going to become a baker. Like, that's not who I am. And you know who I learned this from, by the way? My mom. So my mom, you know, a lot of you know, she passed away in 2016, January, but Janice, she knew what she loved and she knew like what she didn't love. And so I was so fortunate to be raised by a mother who taught me through example. Like, this isn't anything she ever sat me down and said, Evelyn, let me tell you about this, or Nisi, let me tell you about this. Like, no, her life was my lesson. The way that my mom went through her life was my lesson. There were certain things that she loved to do. Like, she loved to plan parties and things like that. That's not my jam. She loved it. And so that's what she would do. For her birthday, she would plan a party that made her day happy. That was the battle she chose to pick, right? But then there were other things where she was just like, no, I'm not doing that. Like, that's not me. I'm not doing it. And that's okay. And I think that's the thing, is you have to give yourself that permission to do the things that you love and not do the things you don't love. You know, and to a certain extent, you know, it can be hard because you're going to feel that pressure, but own it, you know. Let me see. But yeah, so I mean, that's really it. Like, that's the topic of the day. Oh, I know what I wanted to talk about. I want to talk about my day today in particular. So I mean, this topic is on my mind at this time of year because this time of year we get overcommitted, right? And my day today, specifically the 14th of December, 2019, as I'm sitting here recording this, had that kind of phenomena where I felt like I had too much on my plate, and it was too much for me. And so that's the other thing, is like, you always have to say like, yeah, it's too much, but for me, like, it might not be too much for other people. Other people, that's just an average day. But for me, I suddenly found myself like, oh my God, there's a lot on my day today. So I had to pick and choose. And so there are going to be some things today that I'm not going to go to, that I'm going to say, you know what, I'm not up for it today. And that's the other thing. Sometimes people will ask me, well, how do you say no to these things? Honestly, the way that I do it, I just say like, I can't make it, or I'm not up for it today. And then I just turn that thing off and do, you know, and like make the choice that works in my day. And that, you know, that's always been my way of doing it. Instead of making excuses, instead of saying, oh my God, I'm so sorry, I can't do it. Like, it's okay. Just say, I can't make it, and say, please keep me in mind for next time, but I can't make it. And that's it. Like, you don't have to gush all over it and be super sorry. Now, part of this is my personality. Like, I totally get it. Like, I know that some people, they need to say those apologies to sort of like, because of their personality. I am the personality type that doesn't need that. For those of you in my typology community, this is TE, this is not FE, right? But that's what I'm going to have to do today, because I was already feeling the pressure earlier in the week for today. And so I picked my battles. What do I really care about? I really do care about going live for you guys at 8 a.m. I do. Like, I know I only get 1 or 2 views, but it's something I'm passionate about, something I want to do. So that's a battle I chose I'm going to do today. And then my son has a class. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do my packet pickup for my race tomorrow. I'm going to bake those cookies. They're going to be lazy baked, but they're going to be baked. And I'm going to go to the cookie party, because those are the things that I care about, that like my heart really cares about. And so those are the areas where I'm going to stand and say, I'm going to push through my tiredness, my busyness, my whatever, to do those things on this Saturday, right? And then tomorrow morning, I'm going to wake up and do a 5K. That 5K is like right on the edge, though, of what I think I really want to do. And honestly, like, I may not do it next year. So the 5K tomorrow is, it's actually the 12Ks of Christmas. And I'll tell you right now, I have a lot of friends that run marathons, half marathons. I love you guys, 10Ks. I'm a 5K person. I actually took a DNA test. Turns out I'm 100% a 5K person. Like, my 23andMe results came back. I was like, yeah, you don't need to be doing distance running. And given my family history of hypertension and people just dropping dead, I'm just like, I don't need to do these long distances. It's not part of my life, but I do like doing 5Ks. So the 5K tomorrow is the 12Ks of Christmas, but I'm only doing 5 of them, 5 of the 12Ks. That event is, I'm not sure I really need to do it. I'm going to be on my own. I'm not running it with anybody. But the thing is, I really like, at least last year, I really liked the shirt. So I kind of went for it again this year, but I don't know if I'll do it next year. And that's the thing. It's like, and that's okay. If I decide not to do it next year, that's fine. That's okay. That doesn't mean that I'm not BA. I still identify as 100% BA. So anyways, I think that's really all I have for today. Pick your battles. This time of year, you can't do it all. Stop trying to do it all. Get help, to Kristen's point. Get help. If you have a friend who can help you, reach out to that person, get their help, and be real with your boundaries with your friends. Be real with your boundaries. Just say like, hey, I can't make it, or I've got a lot today. Like, oh, and that's the other thing. The flip side of this, I got to say, shout out to, I believe her name's Marquita. I don't want to get that wrong, but in the Snohomish County Black Ladies page, she even said, like, if you can't make it to the brunch this month, I get it. There's a lot going on for a lot of us. So if you're on the other side of this, if you are in a state where you're doing a party or you're doing an event and you're inviting people and people can't make it, don't push them. Just be like, it's cool. I get it. We're all busy. Like I said, I'm doing this live video because I love it. I don't expect you guys to wake up at 8 a.m. if you don't want to wake up at 8 a.m. Hey, Jean. Hey, Misha. Yeah, like, it's okay. If you can't make it, if you got to go, that's fine. That's the other thing. Give your friends that space, because they will thank you for it later, right? Because you're giving them the gift of self-care. And that's really what's important. That's really what we're all about. So anyway, thanks, guys. Thank you. Yes, have a great day. And I'll see you later. Bye.